Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and today we're doing a blind commentary, blind reaction to Violet Evergarden episodes 5 through 7. Last time we watched episode 4 as well as the OVA that came out after the series finished but took place chronologically between episodes 4 and 5. Now we're back to the main series watching 3 more episodes of Violet Evergarden. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Curious to see who else Violet can potentially help with her unique brand of ghostwriting, and see what progress she makes on herself as far as answering that ever elusive question of what truly the words "I love you" mean, because that is her goal. But yeah, no, like I said, we had fun last time. It was a pretty good pair of episodes, essentially. And yeah, we got 3 more in this video, so I'm looking forward to this. Violet Evergarden's been pretty good so far. It's definitely been emotional. It's been fairly nuanced, and yeah, it's been really good. I've really liked it, and it's like I said, it's been emotional. I haven't cried or anything, but I've definitely felt the emotions of everything, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a series that gets me by the end. So we'll see whether or not that happens, and whether or not it happens in this video. It doesn't necessarily have to wait till the end either. But yeah, we got 3 more episodes. I'm curious. Maybe we'll get Catalina stuff. Because we've had focus between last time we had focus with Iris. The previous time we had focus with, Erica. So I'm wondering, like, who she's going to potentially, kind of have focus sauce with. And I'm thinking that, Catalina hasn't really had that type of Catalina, however you pronounce her name. It's not a flower I'm familiar with. To see how the focus goes, who Violet's. Jesus Christ, I don't know why I'm struggling so much to say, like, who's going to get the fucking lion's share of attention in a given episode or whatever, but obviously alongside Violet. Whatever, that was a disaster. Let's just jump in. Let's just watch some Violet Evergarden. So let's jump in to episode 3 of episode 5. We've most definitely watched episode 3 already, as well as episode 4 in the OVA. So it's time for episode 5 of Violet Evergarden, which will commence in, as I struggle, as always, as you guys know, with my chair. 3, 2, 1, and play. Oh shit. Okay. Well, things are definitely going to get a little more intense as Bougain Village. God, these names, Jesus Christ. Doesn't matter. See, even when I get away from the Japanese names, I get names that are just as hard, if not harder. Christ. But yeah, that was episode 5 of Violet Evergarden. It was the tale of a prince, Prince Damien, and a princess, Princess Charlotte. And it was a beautiful little tale, a very classic, traditional, old-school romance story between royalty and, like the 2 countries, and marrying, and like a marriage, a bond between the countries, and like all that fun stuff. Really beautiful stuff. I really did enjoy it, though, and I like how they kind of swerved it with she was actually already in love with him, but she was worried that he wouldn't love her, and like there were a lot of cute little kind of plays on the traditional versions of this, and it looked like they were going to, kind of do one thing, and then they went a different direction, and the whole thing was just really beautiful, like I said. And it's great to see how well Violet's coming along with being able to do her job effectively. It's, she's already come such a long way from where she was at the beginning of the series, when she couldn't, write this type of letter with any effectiveness, and now she's already become incredibly good at it as she truly starts to see and learn an emotional how to write like these emotions as she slowly starts to learn and even develop these emotions herself, which is the beautiful nature of this story. And that's something that I'm really enjoying about Violet Evergarden so far, is to see her kind of gradually not only understand these emotions but learn to feel these feelings herself. And that's, like I said, that's kind of the beauty of the story, and that's what we've been getting so far in this show. And this was, I think, a huge, seeing such a pretty smile on Violet's face was such a huge step forward in that direction. And it was so great that this story about Charlotte and Damien could get her to that point. And that's something that I really liked about this episode. And, maybe, honestly, if anything, potentially sold it as the best episode, actually seeing Violet smile at the end was, because what this show, I think, does a really good job of is making you root for Violet, and in the sense that you're rooting for this girl to be able to have a normal life, to feel the things that we feel, and to be a person. Because where we meet her at the beginning of the series, she's barely more than a doll. And it's about her finding her own humanity. And that's something that's, I think, very compelling, but also just very raw, and something that we all can relate to and understand. And that's something that makes this show really cool. And is probably one of the, besides maybe the technical aspects, which I think are phenomenal, one of the things that really makes this show good is the raw connection that you can have to the protagonist, because you're rooting for her to be able to feel. And that sounds like such a basic premise, but sometimes something as simple as that can really invest you into a story, or a character in this case, and really make you want good for her. And I think that, as simple as it is, creates a investment in these stories. Of course, most of these stories, these writing of letters are about new characters that we haven't met before and we're not going to see again either. But the investment in wanting Violet to learn and grow and become human, for lack of a better term, that allows for investment in these individual stories that, outside of her writing element in, she otherwise has nothing to do with, which makes these random tales have a greater meaning to Violet, and thus a greater meaning to you as the viewer. So it's a really cool show. And I'm really excited for some more. That was a really good episode, and I think a really good start. I think that actually could have possibly have been a set ender, even, honestly. But I understand why you'd want to stop on the OVA, and we'll see where this goes, because obviously we got a nice teaser for the next episode with Detard showing up, and Detard being quite. Maybe this is a strong word, but I'd almost use the word apoplectic over the fact that Violet has become a memory doll, and that's pretty crazy. So very curious to see where this goes. Very curious to see how she continues forward as an auto memory doll, given the fact that now there's some military people with a certain amount of emotional attachment that want to be like, what the fuck? So yeah, I'm very excited for the next episode. So let's just jump right into episode 6 of Violet Evergarden. Alrighty, that was episode 6 of Violet Evergarden, and that was just another banger, another beautiful episode. It's really interesting because I don't know what I was expecting going in this show, but it's very episodic. it's really weird because I'm actually recording a series right now lately that is not out yet on the channel, and I don't actually know. Hopefully it'll be out on the soonish side. It'll probably be a Slot 4 series, but it kind of does a similar thing. But a series I've been recording, and I can't say what it is, obviously, because that would be spoilers for the future. But it's reminding me of that series in the sense that the episodes are fairly episodic, but the theme is always consistent throughout the series, and it all reverts back to the overarching themes, which are always the same. And Violet Evergarden is structured in a very similar way, where the episodes themselves are fairly episodic, and they're kind of their own relatively self-contained stories, but the themes and the character progression of Violet and just the themes about her trying to learn about emotions, understand what emotions she feels, how to describe those emotions. Like, it's just a whole thing about her coming to terms with her own emotions, learning that she does in fact have them, learning how to identify them, and just generally becoming more of a full, complete human being in the process. And I think it's so cool because it's something that, like I said, I'm experiencing on two fronts here. Can't talk about the other, but, I will when we get there. But it's really interesting because it's one of those things that I'm really enjoying about Violet Evergarden. I think at its core, I think that's one of its, like I said, one of its biggest strengths is that we are focusing on who Violet is and who she's becoming over the course of the series as she does more of these, auto memory doll jobs, and she, in the process, not only grows as a person, but she's also helping others grow as a person. So she's becoming an even better person just in the process of helping others in addition to helping herself, which is, obviously the fact that she can help others is tremendous, and the fact that she's able to help herself in the process as well is beautiful. And it's something that's just, I think, makes this show very... Again, fun is not really the right word, right? Like, I don't really look at this show as being fun. It isn't fun. It's not particularly funny. It's not even, it is very enjoyable to watch, perhaps, but it's not a fun experience. I don't necessarily think it's even like a sad experience, at least not yet. But it's just one of those series where fun isn't really the correct descriptor, but it's a fulfilling use of my time. It is certainly a series that's been worth watching so far, and I think that's, in the end, what you really want, regardless of what emotions, what feelings a series gives you, is it worth your time? Has it been compelling in one form or another? And there's many different ways to be compelling, and Violet Evergarden certainly is compelling. I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it a lot, and I'm definitely excited because we are about, kind of halfway through. Of course, we have some bonus content after we finish all the episodes of the series. We still won't be done, and I don't know yet whether I'll be doing... So I know we'll mention now, I guess, that the next set might be 2 episodes, it might be 4. I was given the option to go either way. So that I don't know, and so it might only be 2. If it's 2, then man, we're really taking our time through Violet Evergarden. But it'll either be 2 or 4. But either way, we still have quite a few because we still have essentially the movies, because there's like the really long OVA movie or whatever, and then there's the movie. So, I mean, even after we finish the actual season of Violet Evergarden, we're still going to have a lot more to do. So we're going to be on this series for quite a while longer, which I don't mind at all. I mean, it's been very good, and I'm definitely enjoying it. And I'm excited to see where we leave off, because I think episodes 5 and 6 were great. And I'm curious... Like I said, she's traveling all across the country, or not even the country, all across the continent now, and doing these crazy jobs, and I imagine a fair bit of time is passing as well, because obviously it's not quick to travel such large distances. So I'm very curious what episode 7 is going to give us and where we're going to leave off. I'm wondering, he keeps coming up, of course. I'm wondering if she's going to find out that Gilbert is dead maybe by the end of this episode. I think that could potentially be the case. It might be too early for that bomb to drop, but I could potentially see it drop in this episode, because I think that's where this show will most likely take a turn, is whenever Violet learns about Major Gilbert's fate. And I think once we get there, then I think things are going to escalate and I think get a lot more serious. Not that they haven't been already, but I think things will get a lot more saucy in certain regards, as far as emotional, distress, and like where this is eventually going to go, because it's will she be able to accept his death, and how that's going to play out on the screen is something I'm really looking forward to. So that's something that I'm wondering if that's going to come out in episode 7, or if that's going to be more of like an episode 9 or episode 11. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take us necessarily to get to the point where she learns about Gilbert's fate. And I'm just curious. I'm just curious how much longer we'll have to wait, like what her reaction towards Hodgins might be, just all of it. Like, I'm just so curious to see that. And that's something that this series is building to, because she's becoming this greater, more fulfilled and more complete person. But that's going to be the biggest test of Violet on so many levels, when she finds out about Gilbert's fate. And that's something that's kind of looming over this series until we pull the trigger on that, and then who knows where it's going to go. So like, that's a whole another thing that I'm really excited for and really can't wait for. So I'm excited, and I think you guys are excited. So why not jump into episode 7 of Violet Evergarden. Yeah, we're not. I don't even want to do the ED right now. Jesus Christ, that episode was something. Holy fuck, that episode just kept hitting. It just kept hitting. Oh my god. First we get I mean, honestly, that was the best episode before she found out. Then we got that ending where she found out. I mean, the stuff with what was his name? Was it Oliver? Olivia? Olive? It was Oscar. That was his name. But the writer and the playwright, and his story was so touching and emotional, and how Violet was able to finally let him let go and just, heal a little bit over everything that's happened, because that was something that he clearly never was able to do before. And now he finally got to that point in this episode, and that was something that was already, beautiful. That was something that was so touching, and I think it was probably the most touching thing in the whole series. It does feel like these are getting more and more emotional over time, which is pretty impressive. We still have a ways to go, so I don't know if they can keep escalating the feels, but they definitely are doing a good job so far. And I definitely really enjoyed his story, and how he was able to let go through the course of writing this story, and through the course of meeting Violet, and Violet being there for him in various ways, and just that whole scenario was something that was really great, and something I loved about this episode. And it was just something fantastic that we got in this episode of Violet Evergarden that I really appreciated, that made it the best episode. It was so touching, it was so compelling, it was amazing, it was beautiful, and that was something that I absolutely loved. And that episode was phenomenal. That was, I think this show is, the episodes of all been really good, and they've all hit. But I think that episode hit different. It was the most emotional I've gotten in an episode of the show, and it hit just right. Like that story, again, boy losing guy, and there's been so many. It's been a very recurring theme, not in every episode, but there has definitely been a recurring theme of Violet helping people through loss, and now Violet truly understands loss because the one person that she ever truly loved, she now knows that she is lost, and now she's going to have to find a way to accept that, and that's going to be a core tenet of the remaining episodes of Violet Evergarden, and that's something that I can't wait to see unfold because it's a very sad, very tense experience that she's going through right now because she lost the person most important to her, and she just finally found out that she actually did for real, and that's something that can't be duplicated. That's something that's just a special experience in the worst kind of way. And I'm really curious to see how this pans out because this is where this series is going to get dark, and then which is the next probably couple episodes, and then it's going to make a turn either in a very positive light, in a very beautiful light, or it's going to take a turn in a horrible light. My gut leans slightly towards it's going to go in a positive direction by the end, but it's hard to know for sure. It certainly could go either way, but this is where her growth into a person fully matures, and she really, by experiencing tragedy and heartbreak, she'll finally be able to truly empathize with people and truly understand people on a level that while she's making progress towards, is not fully there yet. And this is what will get her there. And that's if she is able to accept it herself, because she's done such a great job helping others accept helping others accept their issues, but now it's Violet's turn to accept her own tragedies, and that's something that's going to be really rough. And right as she really is starting to come in tune with the fact that, wow, I did, I have all these scars, they do mean something. I did all these horrible things, they do mean something. I was this weapon that didn't care, but now I realize that I do care. It did mean something, and that's something that's like so powerful. And then you throw in the Gilbert situation onto this, and it just makes everything even more tragic and more difficult for her to work through. And that's something that I just can't wait to see how that goes in the rest of the series, which is what the future holds for this show, is how she's going to handle finally learning that Major Gilbert did die. I wasn't sure when this was going to come up. I was thinking maybe it will be at the end of the set, or maybe it's going to be closer to the end of the series, but it is happening in episode 7, which is great, which means there's going to be plenty of time for her to really suffer through it, and hopefully eventually be able to kind of accept it and move on with her life, even though she will never stop loving Gilbert. So I can't wait to see where that goes. I think it's going to be awesome, and that's something that was really, really touching and emotional, and I really appreciated it. That was a fucking great episode. Like I said, that was my favorite episode. I can confidently say that episode 7 was my favorite episode of Violet Evergarden so far, because the story, I think it had the most compelling, quote-unquote, episodic story. I think the story about Oscar and his family and trying to tell this story with Violet was really, really good. I think Violet's role in it was really strong, because episode 5 was a really good episode, but I think what episode 5 kind of suffered from just a little bit was that Violet herself felt very unneeded in the story. She was acting as a writer. She had a few moments where it was specifically Violet that made the difference, but for the most part, it didn't feel like she had much of a role in that one. And that's kind of a cool, but I love how episode 7 integrated her in a perfect way, where she, was able to tell this man's story, but also really fit in the role in a really cool way. And I really enjoyed that, and that was something that I really liked about about episode 7, and that was incredible. And then we get the scene where she's coming home and she's, starts breaking down crying, kind of realizing that she's burning, so to speak. And then it just gets even better, because then she gets home and, of all people, it's the Evergardens who end up spilling that Gilbert's dead, and then she rages at Hodgins, finds out the truth, and here we are. That's where we left off, and God only knows where it's going to go from here. I mean, other than, Violet's own journey of acceptance truly begins now, and I'm very curious what twists and turns will be on that. So this was a great set of Violet Evergarden, and episode 7 in particular was fantastic. And I'm really excited for the next time when we do dive further into Violet's emotional state and see where this goes. So that was great. I really loved this episode. I really loved this set, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We are chugging away through Violet Evergarden. We've done essentially 8 episodes, really, because we've done 7 of the main episodes, but we also did the OVA already, so we are moving along. So that's great. But anyways, that's pretty much all I gotta say. So if you guys want to support the channel, my Patreon's down below in the description. My Discord server is as well, if you want to check that out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without any further ado, it is time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.